Alright, the old drivetrain is out. The new one is in there. I figured I'd go over this before I get rid of it. But the distance on this setup, SM465 and a 205, from the front of the bell housing to the front of the transfer case is 26 inches. The Turbo 400 is 28.5 inches. So you get an extra 2.5 inches. On this, I have the Northwest Fab clocking ring on there. Really, it's more for clocking the transfer case up, I guess for Jeeps, rock crawling, all that kind of stuff. It does let you clock it down, but you can look at my other videos and see what all is involved. But for the most part, you're going to have to cut the ear off of the mount for the transmission mount. So once you do that, then you're going to have to do something like what I did and make a whole plate to hold the drive line, because now you don't have anywhere to have your transmission hooked up. So, I mean, I've done everything I could do to get this to work. I got it to work. I'm just not going to spend the money to rebuild this. But ideally, that Northwest Fab clocking ring is more for clocking up. You can clock it down, but again, you're going through a lot of work to get it, just to get this, have your truck be a 4-speed. So, as far as my front drive shaft, when this was in there, the best it was like 26 degrees with the clocking ring in there, and everything that I've done. The motor moved back 2 inches, the front axles moved forward 2 inches. I did what I could do to get that front drive shaft to be where it is. So now with the Turbo 400, again with the motor set back 2 inches, axles forward 2 inches, with that 400 and the 205 mounted to that 400, just factory mounted, no clocking ring, now my front drive shaft's at 28 degrees. So I really didn't lose anything. Knowing what I know now, I should have just did an automatic straight from the beginning. But you never know until you try. So that's what all is involved if you want this and a big lift. You're gonna have to do a lot of fabricating. But that covers that. I'll see if the guy that I got to drive the Turbo 400 from wants this, or maybe he'll just want the 205. I don't really have a use for it, so I'll see if he wants that. But at least it's in there. I got the cross member. It's just a factory cross member. I got my 2.5-inch spacers are back in, and I ended up making a new one for the center because I took so much off of that end trying to get that to clear the clock 205. So I'll make another one of those. I gotta finish painting the transfer case. I didn't bother painting the bottom because I knew it was going to get all scratched up. But depending on what kind of deal he gives me for a rebuild on the Turbo 400, I may end up just ordering a TCI from Summit and have it drop shipped. Basically, once I get all the small stuff done on the truck, then it's going to get towed up to the 4-wheel drive fabrication build shop, and he's going to do the transmission, do the gaskets on the 205, and rebuild my axles, do my gears. So I'm going to give him the truck as a running truck, and he's going to give it back to me as a driving truck. So then all I got to do is put the tires on. So that's the overall end goal. When I did the exhaust, I built it with the transfer case in its stock location on the other setup, so I didn't have to do anything to the exhaust. It doesn't hit. It's got plenty of clearance. So only thing I got to do is the shifter for the 205 is sitting right on the floor. But then again, my motor is moved back and now I have this 400, which is longer. So I think I might cut that shifter handle off at the base and weld the SM465 shifter on there. I don't want a twin stick. I just want it to be pretty much factory. The factory setup works pretty good. So I'll try doing it that way. I'll do the transmission lines, get a cooler on the front of the radiator. Try to get it so he's not making anything. And then the parts truck that I got in the beginning of this build, I kept the clutch pedals out of that. So I had, or the brake pedal assembly out of that. So I'm gonna take these clutch pedals out. I'll put the automatic brake pedal assembly in. Then that nub on the steering column is where I want my tack, so I don't want it to be a column shift. So I'm looking at the B&M Pro Ratchet shifter, which I'll end up mounting right here. And I like that one because it doesn't go forward into park and then all the way back into first. It just stays in one position. You just bump it back and forth into whatever gear. So that I'll put here. Now you can see right there's the floor and that's where it's sitting at. Then my fix for the hole in the middle, since the truck doesn't have cup holders, no place to put a cell phone or anything, there's my fix. So I just got to pull the carpet back. I got to cut out a piece of metal and do a block off for the hole that's there. So that'll be completely blocked off, but then this is just going to get bolted to the floor. So at least I'll have cup holders and it covers the big giant hole. This is really just a couple of odds and ends. I mean, it is what it is. That's the update. At least it's all in there. Them 205s don't get any lighter. And this is like eight times I've done the 205, taken it out, put it in. That's it.